In 1921, the Green and Green Company introduced a new snack using the tagline, "A baked rarebit." Local citizens of Dayton, Ohio, who were living near the factory, began to pass this snack, called the Cheez-It, around to friends and family. A dynasty was soon born. If you were to overhear a conversation there that year, more than likely one Daytonian would be asking another, "You tried that?" It's episode 5 of You Tried Dat. I'm Nick Novak, here with my pals Nick Geiger.
Hey.
And Chad Hancock.
How's it going?
And we're back to review some more snacks. And I thought today, since one of the snacks we're going to be talking about is a cola-based snack, we could touch a little on what our soda preferences are. Geiger, give us we all know your answer to this, but why don't you explain why you like Mountain Dew and why that's so wrong?
Hold on one second. I had to take a sip of my big glass of Mountain Dew. I don't know why. I grew up, my dad liked it a lot. So I drank it as a kid, and it's weird, but it is so syrupy that it's just the smoothest soda I've ever drank. Like a lot of other sodas, you get that carbonation feel. You don't get that. You're just drinking corn syrup with the side. It's really good. I don't drink it nearly as often as I used to. I don't ever have it in the house anymore because I will plow through it if it's there. But we had a bunch for the Super Bowl because I'm the only because it was an excuse to buy it. No one else drank it. But I don't know why I love it so much. The fact is that I actually put it on my online dating profile when I first went online, and Betsy made fun of me about it. My wife made fun of me about it forever. She's like, "Your profile was terrible. It said stuff about how you liked Mountain Dew and the Packers." Like, it's the
two terrible things.
It's the truth. I mean, whatever. Yeah.
What about? Do you like the Code Red and all those?
No. I like the green original version, and I don't like any of the others. Oddly enough, I find the others way too sweet, even though they're just as sweet as Mountain Dew regular. I don't know why. LimeWire and the weird World of Warcraft ones. What I hate about liking Mountain Dew...
There's a World of Warcraft Mountain Dew?
Briefly, I think. There's all kinds of weird stuff.
Fucking nerds.
Well, that's the worst part about liking Mountain Dew, is like it's the most easily made funnable drink, other than maybe like Monster energy drink or something, where it's the drink that everyone associates with like nerds playing video games or strangely extreme sports. Those are the two spectrums, neither of which, well, I'm a nerd that plays video games, but
also it looks like gummy bear piss, so there's that.
Right. And it's horrible for you. My dad's best friend is a dentist, and growing up he'd be like, that stuff will kill your teeth. It's awful.
Did you talk about World of Warcraft on your dating profile too?
No, I never played World of Warcraft. I also know enough that is not exactly a woman pleaser, so I probably would have excluded that if I had.
You thought Mountain Dew was, though.
Mountain Dew is proven to bring in chicks. It brought in one chick, and I married her as soon as I could. Mountain Dew, Packers, this ugly mug. These are the things that reel those ladies on it.
Chad, what soda do you like, if any?
So I used to be big into Pepsi. Then at some point, maybe 10 years ago, I switched over to Coke. Drank nothing but Coke for a while. Then about 4 years ago, I gave up soda completely. And by the way, it's called pop, not soda. So, but anyways.
Have you held to that?
Yes. Almost entirely. I do occasionally have root beer, so I'll have like a root beer every so often, maybe once a month or something. And I've had maybe like 4 Cokes in the last 2 or 3 years. I mostly gave it up for health reasons. I was trying to lose weight, and it's so bad for you. And then I wasn't about to drink Diet Coke or Coke Zero or any of that other stuff, because that stuff is just also garbage.
It's a waste of time.
Complete garbage. Right. Why would you do that? So I replaced it mostly with like iced teas, like unsweetened iced teas, or actually I started drinking chai lattes all the time, which is just such a San Francisco thing to do. And that's probably just as much calories because it's full of milk and sugar and all this other stuff. So that's sort of probably canceled out any gains I might have made from giving up pop.
Did you make any gains? Because I know I think I had some coworkers that said they quit pop and soda, darn you, and so they lost like 10 pounds or something ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like immediate
Well,
change.
I also still every morning wake up and inject mac and cheese directly into my aorta, so that doesn't really, it's sort of a drop in the bucket to give up to soda, but
Did you like the mac and cheese flavored Mountain Dew?
I did not try that. That sounds
No.
horrible. I will say I definitely felt.
Did you believe that existed?
Wait, is that a thing?
Yeah, you took that in stride. No, of course it's not.
That sounds like something they would do.
No, sorry, I missed that one. What?
I guess I would try that. So I will say that I did feel a lot better. Like at first, for the first like month or so, I felt like absolute shit. Then I started to feel much better, and now when the only times I'll have a Coke is if I'm feeling sick. It sort of just makes my throat feel a little better if I have a cold or something. But otherwise, if I drink one, I just feel like sluggish afterwards. And so that's me now. What about you, Novak?
I kind of made that decision you made a while back, but not as extreme, a few years back, to just cut down a lot, because kind of like you guys, when college years came through and I was just putting them back. I mean, just multiple sodas a day. So now I'm one, maybe two a week at the most, and I will only drink a Dr. Pepper or a Cherry Coke. Those are my top two, and anything else I just feel like, look, I'm having them so infrequently, I'm just going to save it for ones that I really like. So this is the only two that I'll make exceptions for at this point.
So between Coke and Pepsi, though, we're all Coke. Is that where we all forced to drink one?
I don't care.
I am now, but I think they're both fine. Like I'll never understand people that will refuse to drink one or the other. Like they taste so close together. And I say this all the time, but people always are like, oh, I can tell they taste totally different. And I agree, they taste totally different if you have them side by side. But, we all used to work at Lone Star Steakhouse. And when I worked there, I think we only had Pepsi, and people would come in and order a Coke. And rather than argue with them and say, well, we only have Pepsi, and then they get all upset, I would just go get them the Pepsi, serve it to them, tell them that it was a Coke, and never once in the 2 years I worked there did somebody call me out on it and be like, hey, this is actually Pepsi. They just drank it happily because they didn't know any better.
Yeah, I grew up on Wildwood Cola and Jewel Cola, which is a grocery store out in Chicago. So whatever was the generic cheap cola is what we had. So I just didn't develop a preference for any one specific cola. To me, it's I mean, it's I see you might prefer one, but if you like cola, you like cola.
The worst one to me, Chad, in that same vein at Lone Star was we had Mr. Pibb instead of Dr. Pepper.
Yep.
And again, if you put a Coke, like you said, I could tell the difference between Coke and Pepsi. I couldn't tell you at all a difference between Mr. Pibb and Dr. Pepper. And people would be like, do you have Dr. Pepper? We have Mr. Pibb. Never mind. I was like, seriously?
I'm more likely to tell the difference between Pibb and Dr. Pepper just because that's what I drink more of.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but I wouldn't turn it back.
But if somebody gave you a Pibb and told you it was a Dr. Pepper, like at a restaurant, you would totally believe them, especially if it was a fountain drink, because there's so much variability from fountain drinks,
Right. And even if I knew, I would wait till they leave and then, dump it under the table or something.
You would sneak into their house at night and just pour it all over their face.
I remember that
So
one
whisper
time.
in their ear and wake them up. It's me, you son of a bitch.
Remember when we got thrown out of that restaurant because they served you Mr. Pibb and you spit it back in their face?
That happened a few
This is
times. Yeah.
Bullshit. Yeah.
Well, I was going to save this one for the end here, but since we're on this cola kick, let's dig into a cola snack.
All right.
Before we eat one of these things, let's describe it here. It says company's called Nobel, and the product is Super Cola, and the packaging is sort of like a old-time comic strip or newspaper. I don't know what it's supposed to be.
Packaging is ridiculous. Like it's supposed to look like comics page, like the Sunday comics page or something, but all the pictures are just people with their mouths wide open, like expressing shock and an explosion in their mouth, and they're all saying like, "Oh, cola!"
I think I can tell what that little explosion means. This is going to be some kind of a sour or something other is what I'm guessing.
I would assume it tastes like cola.
Yeah.
I wonder if the Nobel company makes soda.
I wonder if there's like a carbonation type of experience that you would get, and that's what they're reflecting.
These are individually wrapped
Jeez,
inside.
That's annoying.
They
So-
show you a cross section of the candy on the
They gotta
back.
make me do work by like opening the individual.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
The cross section says the outside is the cola taste powder, but
Cola taste powder.
the middle layer is the Super Cola candy, but the inside is the Shua powder. So Geiger, tell us where you got this.
So growing up, we had Shua powder all the time. No,
Is that big in Wisconsin? Shua powder.
and you wrap it in bacon and douse it in cheese. Now, there's this Japanese market not too far from us named Mitsuya that's actually really cool. I've been really into
I love Mitsuya.
Asian food lately. And so they have a really good food court. I had some really, really tasty ramen. It took forever, but it was worth it. They have like a market that's got all kinds of snacks and foods, some of which we'll see in some future episodes. They have like a liquor store that sells like Japanese and Chinese beers and wines and stuff, and then a couple other things. It was really neat. They have a lot, but the problem, as I found out, as I had to save the receipt because when I'm trying to tell you what this stuff is. I don't speak Chinese or Japanese or Korean or any of that, so all the packaging is completely in those languages. I have zero idea what some of the stuff actually is. So I tried to trace back to the receipt for some of the companies, but
So the actual piece is just a little round piece, and it's kind of doesn't look cola colored.
I'm surprised that it's white because the drawing on the back of the package we were looking at was brown and or orangey, and also on the drawing it has like a little fat disc around the middle, like almost like Saturn's rings or something. But the one that I pulled out is like completely round.
Oh, mine kind of does have the ring.
Mine just has what appears to be chalk on the outside.
Yeah, it looks like chalk.
That's the cola taste powder.
Yeah.
All right, on 3, we're gonna go for this. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this thing, you could tell it's gonna be sour.
All right.
Oh. Oh. Okay, you're not supposed to bite it. Don't bite it, just suck on it. Oh.
Where's the cola? Give me the cola.
Oh God, what cola tastes like this?
Oh.
This is like I just bit into an entire like raw lemon or something.
I'm talking as hard as I can to get to the Shua powder.
Yeah, give me that sweet Shua relief.
The sourness died now, so that was maybe 15, 20 seconds. It's basically like a warhead.
Yeah.
What we're more used to.
Now I see why the people on the front of the package are having that reaction.
You guys have had warheads, right?
I have not.
Yeah, I have.
It's basically this. It's like a super.
Oh, I think I'm getting the Shua powder now.
It's like a super sour taste followed by a sweet taste. They also had like sour balls, they called them. They were like brightly colored balls that were coated in the same thing.
Wait, so Chad, you bit straight through this thing?
I tried to and hurt my teeth, so that was dumb. I thought it was going to be softer.
Mine seems to have like a little hole in it somewhere. Can you feel that little hole?
Yeah, and I sucked out some like I think is the Shua powder or something from inside of it, or
sucked it straight out the hole, right?
It's like a little hole that it does feel like there's some kind of flavor coming out of the hole.
Not bad. Did any point so far in this candy were you compelled to shout "Oh, cola"?
Okay, now I bit into it. It cracked.
Me too.
And definitely, oh Nobel, oh cola.
On the back of the package, the guy and the girl are making like a heart with their fingers for some reason, while at the same time it looks like they're vomiting yellow light. So I think I'm going to do that later. The vomiting yellow light part.
It's
all right.
Clear
So
they love that.
Do you taste anything resembling cola?
Not even remotely.
I am super confused where the cola comes in. If this is cola in Japan, I'll drink American soda. Quite thank you.
What is this flavor?
I've had Japanese colas before, like Ramune and stuff, and it doesn't taste like this.
What does this taste like? I don't even know what I'm tasting.
It's just
not
a sour.
bad.
And once you get through the Shua chalk or whatever's on the outside.
Hey, get it right. The outside is cola taste powder.
Oh, right. Well, that's the most confusing part. That powder tasted like a lot of stuff. No cola, though. It tasted just like pure sour, like lemon. Like you said, lemon.
Now, do you guys know if all Japanese candy is layers of flavor to it.
None that I've ever had.
This is the first Japanese candy I've ever put in my mouth.
That was quite an eating experience, I will say that.
How glad are you to have a whole bag of this sitting around your house?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
I feel like that took me through all the emotions as I went through the different layers, you know. First I recoiled in horror, then I laughed, I cried, and eventually I probably will shit my pants.
All right, Geiger.
You know, the fourth emotion, shitting your pants.
Geiger, how much was this? I mean, there's probably, I don't know, maybe 15 of these in here.
Much. I can check the receipt. Probably like
Just make up a number, we'll believe you.
A couple bucks, right.
72 yen. No, I don't know. I think it was like $4 or something, $5.
Oh, you really went all out for us.
Big
Chad
spender.
sends us the shit off the clearance bin.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't rob my employers / get clearance candy for a year.
Hey, I'm borrowing that candy, all right? I fully intend to return it.
We'll start with Chad. What are your thoughts here on Super Cola? Oh wait, before we go, we should clue the audience into our rating system. If you're new to the show, we have a 5-point system, starting with Love Dat, if you really were impressed with what you ate. Like Dat is the next level down. Indifferent to Dat is our middle level, and then our lower two levels of Dislike Dat, and if you really were repulsed, then Hate Dat. So, Chad, where do you fall?
Oh boy. Okay, so this is a hard one. On the one hand, the outside layer when I first bit in was awful. I hated that. I don't really like that sort of super strong sour, and I wanted to crawl into a hole and just bury myself alive.
Right.
But once I got past that, I actually kind of liked it.
I'm glad you got past that.
Your bar for suicide is pretty low, my friend.
Well, you should try spending 5 minutes in my shoes. Anyways, so the inside was pretty good. That was a good eating experience. On balance, I don't think I want to eat a second one, unless maybe if I washed all the chalk off of it. So I'm going to go with an indifferent to that.
All right, Geiger.
Nothing says a super convenient snack like when you have to individually unwrap and then hand wash. So I am surprised. I'm surprised because I literally bought these because I thought they would taste like cola. Like it's brown. The candy on the front is brown.
What gave you that idea?
It's called Super Cola.
I was expecting like cola-flavored gummy bear kind of things.
I thought it was like a cola. I thought it would either be a chewy cola thing or like a hard candy that tasted like cola. It's got a big glass of cola on the front, a brown ball. I was actually amazed, Novak, that you predicted the sour part. Is that just because of the yellow light explosions in their mouth?
Is that what? Yeah.
So that's good packaging by them, I guess. This is weird. I don't hate it. It's one of those weird things that where like, especially the outside doesn't taste good, but like that sour flavor, I could see myself doing it again. Like the whole, I don't know, something about it makes me want to eat another one, even though I don't really like it. It doesn't make sense. I would say, at the end of the day, I would say Dislike Dat. It wasn't that good. It didn't. I couldn't ever place the flavor, even after you got through the sour chalk dust part. It's not very good. I would dislike that.
All right, it's a dislike. For me, I sort of like this Warhead style thing where you get the pain and before the pleasure, because it just makes the taste, whatever the hell taste that was, it was not cola. It can't be described as any other flavor known to man. But whatever it was still decent tasting, a nice sweet taste. But I couldn't just sit and eat a bunch of these things. And even as far as these go, I'm not sure I'd put them even above Warheads, which I'm more used to. But that said, not terrible. I'm gonna go along with Chad here and give an indifferent to that.
Do they still have Warheads? I can't remember the last time I saw a Warhead. Although I haven't.
I mean, it's mostly eaten by like 9-year-olds. So I mean, see a lot of businessmen munching on Warheads on the park bench or anything.
Are those the things that you would see in like sometimes in gummy ball machines or something outside of like a liquor store or something?
It's a gummy ball machine outside a liquor store.
Creepy liquor store you hanging out at. Is that the kind of thing that clowns would hand out outside the circus? What?
I guess I meant to say like a toy store, but I said liquor store. Because to me, alcohol is nothing but a toy.
Chad's depressing childhood of his parents going to the liquor store and leaving him outside to play with a gumball machine.
Give you a couple quarters.
Instead of G.I. Joes, they just gave me a fifth of vodka.
So not a highly recommended one. It's actually just slightly, average is slightly below and indifferent. So the only way you ever would probably get this is if you were at the specific market that Geiger spoke of. But I'm sure you could find them online somewhere if you want to give the Super Cola.
Or, to all our international listeners, just go down to your local Japanese liquor store and buy them from the gumball machines outside.
Again, to be clear, Mitsuwa is not a liquor store entirely. I did not. Yeah. So Novak, would you say if the outside taste, so did the candy itself taste better just because you fought through the sour part? Like if the sour part wasn't there, would you even like the rest of it?
That's how they get you. That's how they get me to enjoy their mediocre tasting candy.
So how bad could the candy have been and been like, oh, this is an improvement? Like how? Because they made it pretty terrible.
Like some of the Warheads, like the flavor's good, like it's a strong like strawberry candy flavor or something. So it tastes way better after the sour than it would have if I hadn't had the sour. So there's definitely some of that here, but hey, I will give them credit. They drag me down and make me just beg for mercy and then give me something that's pretty bad and it tastes pretty good.
I don't think I get this. It's like you're basically saying it's better to get a $5 bill. Like you'd rather get a $5 bill after you've been punched versus just getting a $5 bill. Like the $5 bill is suddenly better because you got punched first. I don't think I agree with that.
You earned your money.
That's certainly stretching that analogy.
It's like if you were standing outside a liquor store staring at a gumball machine, a drunk socked you in the face and then gave you a free gumball.
Exactly.
I can't think of what a good analogy is, but there's something of, I'm not sure what it would be. Maybe I don't know. I can't think of anything.
This could be good as like a prank food. Like, oh, look at these awesome soda flavored candies I got, and you give them to your friends, and they're like, what the? When they put them in their mouth. That'd be kind of.
You dick.
Hey, Novak, I got a bag of candy.
Yeah. Thank you for teaching us to never trust any food you offer us.
Correct.
Well, the next one is also going to start us off with a really shitty feeling but instead of the taste, we get a shitty visual feeling because our friend delivers us a snack inside of a small plastic bag. So we get Cheez-Its next, and it's a Duo Cheez-It. Geiger, why don't you describe exactly what kind of Cheez-It you get?
So we've got, when I say Duo, it just means there's two different types of Cheez-Its in the same box. So we've got jalapeno flavor and cheddar jack, which is slightly different than the regular Cheez-It, which is just straight up sharp cheddar. And so I'm interested in these because I've recently become a big fan of regular Cheez-Its. They're tasty. They don't feel as greasy sometimes as like a regular like chip. And they sell them all the time in the little tiny bags. We'll get a bunch from Costco and I can just grab a pack and eat it. I go on a fishing trip with some guys from work every year and we grab a bunch of Cheez-Its, take them on the boat. Anyway, so I like Cheez-Its and I also like the flavor. I don't know why
it sounds like the weirdest fishing trip.
You catch like a flounder and then you cook it up and you just sprinkle Cheez-Its over the top of it for seasoning.
Wait, we don't. All I said is I take a snack on a
you
boat.
Guys just hammered out this fishing trip. It has nothing really to do with Cheez-Its, does it?
We get really drunk and I also go for the Cheez-Its. No, I mean, all I meant is that we take a snack on the boat. I didn't mean that was the key part of the trip, but yeah, without Cheez-Its, I won't go.
Tied the Cheez-Its to this fishing experience, so that made it sound like they're a big part of the day.
One time you're gonna go on the trip and you go to the grocery store and they're like out of Cheez-Its and you're just like, cancel the trip!
Yeah, just turn the car around and drive back. Yeah. No,
so when Geiger gave me these, we were going to see our kids. Our kids were having a class together, our 7-year-old children, and he sort of underhanded passed me this plastic bag like we were doing a drug deal, and it just had Cheez-Its in it.
And I also have them in a plastic bag because I couldn't find them in my grocery store, so you had to mail me some in this tiniest. I don't think I've ever seen a Ziploc bag this small. Like, this is one of the saddest Ziploc bags I've ever seen.
Yeah, we got a big box of Ziploc bags. They have a bunch of different sizes, and I can't get rid of those small bags, so it was a good opportunity.
So your plan is, I can't get rid of these Ziploc bags. I know. I'll start a snacking podcast so I can mail snacks to my friends and get rid of these bags finally.
Would you like to know what size bag it is? It says they're snack size. So it works out perfectly.
Do you find that with a bigger bag that when you have a big fish on the line, that sometimes it falls out of your pocket?
You're really pulling this metaphor here. No, I mean, the thing I would... So you tend to catch a bigger fish when you're using Cheez-Its as bait. You just put a little on the hook and drop it in.
Do you remember to bring your fish-size Ziploc bags when you go so you can save some of the fish for later?
Yeah, no, they're shaped like fish, so you just have to slide them in. It's really nice.
All right, so let's get at these things. So remind me again. I don't have the box to look at.
So the white ones, there's ones that are white-ish,
right?
tan. Those are the jalapeno ones.
All
and
right.
the orange ones, because it's the color of cheese, you idiot, is the Cheddar Jack.
So, okay, wait, white is jalapeno, so I should eat white second.
I don't care what order you eat them in.
When you first told me about these, I thought it was going to be that like one side of it was cheddar and one side was jalapeno, like they do.
I thought so too when I bought it, actually. So if you look at the front of the box, there's two distinctly squares.
But instead of them actually combining flavors, they just did the laziest thing they could, which was open two boxes and pour them combined into one other box.
They did do that super cool thing too, where when they said Duoz, they spelled it with a Z, which makes it pretty hip.
That's pretty good. So I went cheddar first, then jalapeno. Now I'm going to do the combo.
Mm. You could make a sandwich too out of them.
I mean, Cheez-Its, the straight up Cheez-Its are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Those I do eat all the time. Never had a jalapeno flavor one.
At the risk of driving more listeners away, I've never had a Cheez-It.
I don't get. Okay.
Literally, all I eat is Reese's Cups. All right, leave me alone.
Now, is a regular Cheez-It, Geiger? I guess I don't pay attention to it. A regular Cheez-It is cheddar, right? Or is this different than a regular?
It's different, yeah. No, the regular ones are like darker orange, and they're like, I think their standard flavor is like sharp cheddar. Where this is Cheddar Jack, which is like a different type of cheese.
Okay.
So the first jalapeno one I got was not spicy, but then the one that I ate with the combo was a little bit spicier. So it seems unevenly distributed.
I will say when I eat them back to back, I'm having a hard time differentiating between the two. I don't know if it's all blending together on my tongue or they don't taste that different to me.
I think these are best kind of eaten with bass.
No, so the jalapeno one's better for like a ceviche or a Chilean sea bass. And the Cheddar Jack is best with 16 Manhattans in your gut while you're sloshing around in a fishing boat.
All right, Geiger, you're our man here to start us off since you bought these and sent it to us.
Yeah. So, when I think of Cheez-Its, I think of fishing with my buddies. No, I'm kidding.
I don't know why that makes me laugh so much. Just picturing you like on a boat with a box of Cheez-Its, just dumping them in your mouth. You're like eating them so hard that the boat tips over, and then you're like, "Save the Cheez-Its!"
Eating them so hard. I have never heard the term "eating so hard" before. The sad thing is, it's just me going fishing by myself. So I'm in a rowboat
trip, just you
in a rowboat reading a book about fish, eating Cheez-Its. I will say they're not as good as regular Cheez-Its. I like regular Cheez-Its the best, but I shouldn't penalize them because they aren't regular Cheez-Its. So
that's exactly
let me try
what
one.
you should do if they're worse.
I shouldn't penalize them because I don't like them.
No, I mean they're just different. Let me try one of each again.
You're still you haven't decided? You still need to...
Look, a lot's on the line here.
Look, Novak, I take this seriously.
All right.
I would say I was expecting like the jalapeno better because I like jalapeno flavored stuff. I would say that Cheddar Jack is better. I like it a little bit better. It's got, I think it's probably because it's closer to the Cheez-It that I like a lot. I mean, I don't love them, but I definitely like them. I'd say both of these, I would give both of them a like that. I would say if I had to rank them, cheddar is better than jalapeno, but both, I would have no problem snacking on this.
So you have a like as your overall grade for?
Like that for both. For the Duoz with a Z. I like that.
I would say I would generally put a regular Cheez-It a very high ranking. I love Cheez-Its. They're super salty. They're way better than like the Cheese Nips, which is the competitor.
You're not fish with those fucking nips. All right, you gotta go.
They're not. You're not gonna catch anything with
No,
those.
what are you
I'll
gonna
tell
catch with a fucking cheese nip?
The jalapeno ones aren't great, and the cheddar jack just sort of make me wish it was the regular Cheez-It. That said, I could probably sit and eat this and be all right. Just watch a game, catch a few fish, something like that. But I'm gonna have to go with, at the risk of just being right in the middle on all these things today, another indifferent to dat, because it's not good. It's just not bad either.
Now, if this box was not a duos but a singles, would you? And it was just the cheddar jack. Would this be a like that? Like, is the jalapeno dragging you down?
It might be, and but still, I'd probably still be a little disappointed that these cheddar jack's not as good as the standard one.
Because in a way, we're rating two separate snacks in it, sort of.
I guess, but they're packaged together, so
That's fair.
Chad, what do you think?
The jalapeno is absolute garbage. I stopped eating them after 3, and I don't want to touch those anymore. I sort of picked around them and picked out the cheddar jack ones. The cheddar jack ones are all right. I'm not blown away. I would easily be able to stay in a boat while eating these. I would not fall out of the boat at all.
I like how your concept of fishing is sitting in a boat.
I mean, that's it's my only experience of fishing is what I have in my mind right now from this, and also whatever we did in Zelda. There was fishing mini games in Zelda. That's probably realistic. You just mash the buttons a little bit. And anyway, so
remember when I lost my Wiimote in the lake last time we was fishing? Like, this doesn't work at all.
So the jalapeno's trash. The cheddar jack is okay. I think I would give it was just the cheddar jack. I would give it a slight like that, but the jalapeno is worse than the cheddar is good. So I'm overall gonna go dislike that.
All right, that averages right out to middle of the road, but still for this episode puts the Cheez-Its on top with one competitor to go, and that is the Kettle brand crinkle cut salt and fresh ground pepper chips. So, I mean, that was a lot. I hate when they got 50 words to describe the chip, but I like the words. I mean, Kettle chips are good. Crinkle cut's good.
Salt is good.
I'm a big salt and pepper chip fan, actually. I don't know if you guys have had any salt and pepper variety chips before, but I like them quite a bit.
I have actually had these exact chips before.
Okay, yeah, Kettle is a little more common.
I think I've had other Kettle brand chips, but I don't know if I've had their salt and pepper. Maybe. We'll see.
What do you think of this packaging? This is kind of sort of like cowboyish to me or something. I'm not sure what they're going for.
I'm not sure. I would prefer maybe like a green or maybe a fish on the package, something like that. Or maybe some comic strips of people eating the chips and their mouths exploding.
Now, look at some stuff on the back here. Does this affect you guys at all that it's claiming that 100% of the excess vegetable oil from the production process is converted into biodiesel?
I mean,
does that make you feel good?
But
You
how
hippie?
good is that biodiesel taste? Probably not great.
And how about this guy in the bottom left where it says, since 1982, which is this is after we were all born. And it's a picture of a guy who looks like he's from old world Italy or something like that.
Or it's like a Paul Bunyan kind of or something. Yeah. I can't tell if he's just wearing like a striped shirt or he just has like really hairy arms.
That nice striped shirt he's got there.
From 1982, he should be wearing like a George Michael tee or something like that.
The Nobel candy actually says since 2014 on the front. So they've really perfected this sour Shuma product for the last 4 years.
Let's crack into these Kettle chips. Smells good. Listen to the sounds of us eating.
I established in a previous episode that I am a big fan of the crinkle cut, so I'm excited about these.
Yeah, we previously did a sour cream and onion in our first episode that has a very similar. What brand was that?
That was the Deep River.
That's right.
Yeah, I saw these and I thought of how you said you like crinkle cut, and Novak, you I think mentioned you like salt and pepper.
Yeah.
So this would be a decent tryout.
Oh, you're thinking of us.
I don't know. I'd try.
I'm gonna be thinking of you by shipping you like just more almond snacks for you to try.
Thank you, please.
So that I can try to kill you with your almond allergy.
Glasses of milk and almonds, please.
So, what's your first impression here, fellas?
This is like nice and crisp, not too peppery, which is good. Sometimes if it's if it's too peppery, then you can't eat a lot. But this has sort of a nice layer on it.
The pepper's there. It just gives you that little bit of feeling in the aftertaste, that pepper aftertaste, but it's not enough to where you need to, take a swig of your drink every 2 chips or anything like that.
Right.
They do seem a little like, I know they're supposed to sort of better for you, or at least that's what they're trying hard to show on the package, but they seem kind of almost wet a little bit with like grease. Am I wrong?
Are you saying you don't like biodiesel?
I'm not saying that they're wet from biodiesel. I'm just saying they might have poured some gas in this bag.
Can really taste the diesel.
Going back to that illustration, is that there's a giant cauldron of chips he's making? Like, what does that have to do with the chip making process?
It does look like he's got some kind of long pizza paddle or something.
I guess we could one of these days, like, maybe do some research. Like, maybe Kettle is known for their pizza or something, but, like, I don't really give a shit.
I did my 30 seconds of Cheez-It research for the intro.
No, it's probably 30 seconds more than you should have done.
All right, so I'll kick us off. This really is right up my alley for chips. I could probably go through a bunch of these. I like the consistency, the harder chip. I talked about that previously, the crinkle cut, and salt and pepper is where it's at. And this is kind of a good amount of both. So I'm gonna just say it, call it like it is, and say that I love Dat.
Whoa!
Oh, shit.
Telling it like it is!
You need a room with these chips? Huh?
I'm gonna get a couple guys. We're gonna go fishing with these fucking chips.
Oh, good luck catching fish. Huh? Nice try.
All right, Chad, what do you think?
These are very tasty. I like the crinkle cut. I like that they're crisp. They're not too peppery. I do like a little flavoring with my chips, I think, as I get into my old age. So, I'm gonna go. I can't go love Dat. I can't. I just can't. Sorry. I gotta tell it like it is. I like Dat.
Oh, telling it like it is, huh?
Yeah, that's how I roll.
Geiger?
Look, I bring the truth to this podcast, okay?
Yeah, there's a lot of truth bombs being dropped over there by Chad that he
Geiger, you
likes.
felt like it is this time, or are you just gonna keep lying?
Well, these are good. I do find them actually a little bit too peppery. And I like the Kettle type of chip. I kind of like the ones more like, when I think of Kettle chips, I think of like the crunchers that are all like curled over on each other and like smashed up and stuff. These are good. Like I said, they feel kind of heavy to me and they're very peppery for me. I would say, what the fuck? I'd eat them. I like that. I mean, well, like, I was gonna say different than that, but like
you said nothing but crap about it.
I mean,
this is the worst shit I've ever put in my mouth. Love Dat.
Hey,
I mean, I say nothing but.
Just tell it like it is. Just give it to us straight. You can't give this a like that if you can't tell us anything you actually like about it.
No, it's a chip, and I like chips. I don't hate it. I didn't mean to make it sound like I hated it. I was deciding between indifferent and like that. They're good. I just don't know how many I could eat in one sitting. Whereas most chips, like I could polish off this bag, nothing flat normally. And I found myself stopping. Now, maybe it's because I've already eaten dinner and a bunch of other food. So, okay, I guess if push came to shove, I'd be indifferent to that. If there was a bunch of chips laying out in a bowl and there was like a bunch at a party, these would be the last ones I would. Well, I shouldn't say last ones, but I would eat others before.
You're still not describing things you like about it.
I'm not. It's fine. Okay.
Actually, just tell us one damn thing you liked about it.
I'm very indifferent to D's. like that.
Indifferent. Well, I don't look. I would eat them, but indifferent to that. I guess I prefer either the Cruncher style kettle chip or a lighter chip.
Okay.
So not.
We've now pressured you into downgrading these chips.
Geiger, you need to go back to You Tried Dat school and relearn the rating system.
Fuck, motherfucker.
All right. So to recap, the Kettle brand salt and pepper is the clear winner of the week with a love, a like, and a very difficult indifferent. And then the other two, Cheez-It Duo and the Super Cola snacks, are both really got middle of the road ratings. So nothing too bad this week that we had to spit out, but the winner is the Kettle chips. Geiger, why don't you give us the quick rundown on some of the social media?
Yeah. You can visit us on Facebook at You Like Dat. You can visit us on.
It's not called You Like Dat.
Shit.
God, you are the worst.
I am a great promoter.
You're fired.
You can visit us on Facebook at Have You Tried Dat Snack? No, that's not right either, right? Have You Tried Dat? Which I swear I know is the name of the podcast. You can also try us on Twitter at You Tried Dat, or you can email us at youtrydat@gmail.com. Let us know if you vehemently disagree, if you want to go fishing later this year, if you have any snacks you want us to try, anything like that. We'd be happy to hear your feedback. And thanks for listening as always.
Yeah, leave us a review, and also any suggestions you have for future snacks. Yeah, hit us up. We've set up a shared calendar where you can book appointments for fishing trips directly with us. And we would just tell us time and place. We'll be there.
It's called You Caught Dat?
All right, we'll just a little preview for next time. We'll see you next time with our completely Asian-inspired You Tried Dat episode. So, next time, boys.
Deuces.
Yeah.